Now let's create an account with a web hosting provider so we can see some of the options I described in the previous clip. I've navigated to GoDaddy.com in my browser, but these steps will be similar for pretty much any web hosting provider. Let's click the menu icon and go to Hosting. There are a few different options here, including dedicated WordPress hosting at the bottom, but we just want web hosting. If I scroll down a bit, there are some plans listed. They obviously have different prices, and you can see the options that are included in each plan. They have more features as the plans increase in price, of course. You'll notice the prices are introductory, and then they go up in price when the plan renews. The different plans also have different storage capacity, and the lowest priced plan only allows for one website. They all have unmetered bandwidth. Read the terms for more details. Just below the table, there's a link for Windows Web Hosting. So it may not have been obvious, but by default, we were brought to the Linux server hosting plans. We'll stick with Linux for our hosting plan though. If we scroll down farther, there are more details on what the different plans offer. The first lines are basically the same as above, but you can also see the amount of CPU and memory that will be allocated to each plan. It's interesting that although the second plan allows for unlimited websites, it still allocates the same amount of CPU and memory to the entire plan. If we click All, we can see even more details. Scrolling down tells us the different types of content management systems that can be installed, and the different development frameworks that are installed on the web server, like PHP, Python, and Perl. Let's scroll back up to the top and choose the economy plan. I'll click Add to Cart. Now we need to choose the plan length. This is the amount of time you're committing for, and the plan will automatically renew unless you change your settings. Let's scroll down a bit, and I don't want to pay for backup or malware scans because I don't plan on hosting a production website, but you might want this. If I choose the 12-month plan or higher, I'll get a domain name included, but I personally prefer keeping all of my domains under another registrar, and I actually already have web hosting elsewhere, so I'm going to choose the 3-month plan. And let's scroll to the bottom and click Continue. Now you can choose to create a user profile with GoDaddy, or you can leverage your existing Facebook or Google account. I'm just going to use my Google account, which requires logging into Google to delegate authorization for GoDaddy to access my account information. This is a standard way of sharing identities on the World Wide Web. I have two-factor authentication set up on my Google account, so there's a code generated on the Authenticator app on my phone. I'll just enter that code. And that's all there is to authorizing access. Now my information has been pulled from Google, and I can use this account to log into GoDaddy from now on. I need to enter some additional information for billing purposes though. And next, I need to pay. I'm going to choose PayPal as my payment method. I'll spare you watching me log into PayPal and authorize the payment, so let's skip ahead. Okay, I've authorized the payment with PayPal. I just need to save this billing information at the bottom, and now I can complete the purchase and create the web hosting account with GoDaddy. Now, because I didn't choose a plan that includes a domain name, GoDaddy doesn't create a default domain name for me. Some hosting providers do, and they let you add your own later, as you'll see when we create a website in Microsoft Azure. I'm going to purchase a domain name later, and I'll show you that process in the next module. For now, I've already checked that this domain is available and not owned by someone else, so I'll enter it here and click Update. You might want to purchase a domain name first just to make sure you have it. Now we need to choose a data center to host the website. Depending on where you expect your users to be located, you'll choose the physical location that your website will be served from. I'm in North America, so I'll just choose that. Next, you have the option to install WordPress and configure it for your website. We'll be uploading an HTML site, so we won't be using WordPress. Now, GoDaddy is provisioning the storage space for our website hosting. This will be a folder on a shared server because that's the plan we chose. Now we get information that we'll need to configure DNS on the internet. I'll be showing you this in the next module also. The value here is the IP address of the web server that this website will be hosted on. There are also records that need to be added for subdomains, like the administrative cPanel, and www is actually a subdomain of the domain name, and that needs to be configured in DNS also, which you may not have known. We won't do this right now though, so let's continue with setup. And let's go to the dashboard. Now, before we upload the website files in the next clip, I want to show you the administrative panel, because it actually gives you some other options. Let's click on cPanel Admin. That opens up a new browser window where we can manage the configuration of the website. This is actually a website itself, and it just gives you visibility into configuration options, so you don't need to log into the actual web server, like we did on the IIS server earlier. If I scroll down a little, there's a link here for File Manager. This opens up a view of the folders on the server, starting with the folder that we have access to. So there are a lot of other customers who have storage space on this server, but we can only see our files, starting at the root of our hosting folder. The same goes for the other customers using this server. The website files we'll be deploying will go under the public_HTML folder. There are some default files here already. Let's actually try uploading the website files using the interface here. I'll click Upload at the top, and it says I can drag and drop files. So let's open up File Explorer on my local machine, and I'll navigate to the folder on my desktop where I've copied the website files. And again, you can get these files from the course downloads. Now I'll drag these onto the web page, and it says there's a couple of errors, and that's because I tried to upload folders that were part of the website files, and the interface doesn't allow that. It did copy the individual files though. So depending if your website has a lot of folders, you could create them manually in the interface, one at a time, and upload the files. Or we can use another approach, which is to connect to the web server using an FTP client on our computer. This is an approach that doesn't rely on the interface of any particular web hosting provider. It's supported by most, if not all, providers. So let's see how to do that next.